All right, there you go, Tony.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the BBL show. I'm your host, Tony Camper, and today I'm here with my co-hosts. I'll start off with the lovely Brittany. Say what's up.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
And Big Will.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Cool. And just in time, say what's up, Nick. And the man behind the scenes, Larry.
Hey, what's up?
Guru.
I got David here with me, my friend all the way from Germany. Say what's up, David.
How's it going?
All right, and last but not least, we have our special guest of the week, Mr. Chad McCray. Say what's up, Chad.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Cool. So, so Chad is this week's special guest, and I'll just go ahead and let Chad explain his story. Go ahead, Chad. Tell the audience about yourself.
Can you still see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm not seeing. Okay. My name is Chad McCray. Originally from DeKalb, Texas. Still live right here in the same area. I'm a competitive wheelchair bodybuilder. Been competing since '05 in the wheelchair. Took numerous first place trophies and just recently did nationals in West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm here today kind of tell my story about who I am, and a little bit of that is, my story also comes with about overcoming adversity as well. It's not, just about bodybuilding.
Okay. So a little background on your story. How did you? First off, before you got in the wheelchair, were you into lifting weights, working out, anything like that?
I started lifting weights when my original background is as a firefighter and a paramedic with emergency medicine, which I loved. I hated having to give that up after my accident. But anyway, we were allowed gym time to go, so it was December of 2000 when I started lifting. Of course, I weighed about 150 pounds. I remember the first day I put 245s, just one on each side of the bar, and I took it off and I almost broke my neck and couldn't get it off of me. And I thought, man, this is, and I can remember when I was lifting, 25-pound dumbbells, and I was like, this is painful. Who wants to put themselves through this, But I kept on, and I did my first competition in '03 at the Heart of Texas in Plano, Texas. And I placed 9th out of, I think, 20 competitors. So for the first show, that wasn't too bad. And then, firefighter and a paramedic at the time, didn't have kids, and my wife had good income. I was able to buy the toys I always wanted when I was a kid, so I bought me a dirt bike. I wanted to get into riding motocross. So I was wanting to take it to a competitive level, and I was actually on a track trying to jump a triple jump, which is a long jump, which basically is you have 3 sections. The first one, the middle section, and then there's one over here. Well, I cleared the middle section, but didn't have enough momentum, and I just came down on the top. Rather than coming down like this, I just come down like that, and when I did, it just landed right on the frame, and it just snapped my back, and just my vertebrae just exploded. And then the bike rolled me over and tumbled me around. And given my medical background, I lost sense of presentation below the waist. And I knew I broke my back, but having the medical background I knew I had compromised my neurological status. And my friend John came over and he said, "Man, get up." I said, "I don't think I can get up." So long story short, I was airlifted to LSU in Louisiana. Post-op surgery there for 3 weeks. Horrible pain, rods in my back, And, my skin's pretty thick. Words generally don't bother me. But I'll never forget the day the neurologist came in there and he told me, he said, "Mr. McCray, your injury's very extensive." He said, "You didn't tear your spinal cord in two." He said, "Probably because you lift so much weight, I had a lot of muscle in my back." He said, "That's probably the thing that kept from tearing in two." But I'll never forget the words that came out of his mouth. Those neurologists and doctors are, they're different kind of people. They're blunt, and that's fine. They should be. He said, "But I honestly don't think you'll ever walk again." And man, that stung. That stung, dude. I just remember laying there, and all I could think about was, my career. I was married at the time to my ex-wife. I was thinking about my marriage. All I could think about was the negative things. I never thought ever things would come to the level they are now. Of course, that's natural. I went through the whole grieving process of, why poor, pitiful me? Why did this happen to me? God, why did you allow somebody that does good things for people? Like, I was passionate as a firefighter and a paramedic. I enjoyed helping people, and I was like, why would you do that? But as time has went on, I found that he still has a calling for me to help people, but just in a different way. I remember not long ago, I was featured on the cover of a local magazine here, and a woman approached me and told me her daughter, was going to commit suicide. She had a lot of things going on in her life, marriage, job, and she picked up that cover and read my story, how I overcame my adversity, and she decided to get her life together. And that just, when she told me that, it just gave me goosebumps. I didn't know what to say other than amen. I mean, what do you say to that? So it's a powerful message to people that I can send out, because I feel like it's a calling for me, because I've been through my trials and tribulations, man. Since my injury, I've been in alcohol rehabilitation. And of course, I was on pain pills after my accident, and I never, ever got off opiates. Those things are horrible. They're great when you need them, but after I'd taken them so long, I made the conscious decision to get off of them. My body was dependent, and the withdrawals of those things are so horrible. I had to end up going through a rehabilitation for that too. So that kind of comes with my story too. I mean, I've had my hard knocks, and that's just kind of the story I want to tell people. Life's going to knock you down. It's not if, it's when. If it hadn't, you're lucky, but get ready because it's going to. And when it does, what are you going to do? And for me, that was, I'm going to pick myself up. I'm going to dust my ass off, and I'm going to get up on and do what I got to do, because ain't nobody going to come do it. Opportunity's not going to come knocking at your door.
You got to go out there and get it, right?
So when you had that happen and everything, did they have to take you away, or what exactly happened when you came down and rolled? Did they stop everything that was going on, pick you up, and then wheel you off in the ambulance?
Say that one more time.
When you had your crash, did they have to take you off in the ambulance, or was it one of those things where you didn't realize for a bit afterwards, and it then came crashing afterwards? Because I've been in for me, when I had my accident and I broke my leg, I didn't even realize I was still in shock from the whole thing. So it was poking out the side of my leg. I didn't realize, and I tried to get up and walk. And then it wasn't until I collapsed that I realized, oh crap, it's sticking out the side of my leg, what the heck here? Did you have a moment like that where it didn't quite set in and you still tried to get up and get away from it?
Well, actually, there was not a lot of pain involved in the initial accident itself. It was painful, all right, don't get me wrong. But I was airlifted via helicopter, and of course, I was a medic at the time. I had the same qualifications as the flight medic. And I said, "Can you give me something for pain?" And he said, "I don't." And he said, "No, I can't." And of course, I've been on the helicopter, the company I work for at the time, and I know they can. I said, "Give me some Nubane, some Total, some Nubane or something." And he said, "What are you, a pharmacist?" And I said, "No, I'm a nationally registered paramedic like you." I said, "Give me something for pain." So I got mad at him. I got into it with the guy, and finally he gave me something. Morphine didn't touch my pain. The only way they could control my pain was knock me out with Demerol IV. Interestingly enough, there was a guy down the hall, a gentleman that had the exact same injury as I did, and he screamed the whole 2 weeks I was there. I wanted to, but what good was it going to do? I mean, it was, I don't know, man, it was a dark side of the moon at that time. I'm not saying my situation is the worst one out there. There are people, things that happen to them a lot worse than me, but I can tell my story, and hopefully that inspires people. Yeah, it's hard to sink in terms of the severity of it. Knew I wasn't going to be able to return to my job if I'm a paramedic. And I looked at disability. I worked for the government on a federal installation, and I still do. Fortunately, they asked if I wanted to go back to school to become a paralegal. That particularly didn't appeal to me at the time. More school on top of all the paramedic and pharmacology and cardiology I've had. So I did, and now I'm working in a JAG office as a paralegal specialist, and that was a good opportunity for me, and that's what I do now for an occupation. So I'm still employed with the Department of the Army.
Nice. So, sorry, my internet kind of froze up. I was in the middle of asking you something. I can't remember what it was now, but so once you came to terms with your situation, you had said you had to deal with drug addiction as well as a result. What was that final turning point, though? What was the point that made you say, you know what, I'm not going to let this hold me back any longer. I'm going to, be stronger than my situation. What was that moment for you?
An emotional one. I'd been drinking pretty heavy. I've been lifting. This December will be 16 years. This was about 18, 19 months ago. I'd taken about 8 months out of the gym, and I was just drinking heavy. I was really just depressed. I was on the old poor pitiful meat wagon. And the doctor had switched my meds up too, from antidepressants, and that just further kind of spun me out. But I came to the point where I was just ready. I'd had all I wanted to deal with. I was done. And I remember I had a 40 caliber Smith & Wesson with hollow points, and I just decided I'd had all I wanted, which goes against my faith. But depression ranges from very, very severe. A lot of people don't understand how it gets to that level, but you're clearly not thinking, especially if you're inebriated. But I remember I didn't want to mess up the inside of my house, and I would say, I have to do shit if I can for Lynn. You see her?
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
I didn't want her to see me, so I don't walk very well anyway. Of course, I was inebriated. Drugged myself out into the woods about 100 yards, and I had full intentions of doing it, man. I still remember how the cold steel felt pressed against my temple, and it wasn't fear that kept me from doing it. It was a very strong, you don't need to do this sort of feeling, and I didn't, and I remember I was so not messed up about doing it. I put my thumb on the hammer and went ahead and pulled the trigger and just lightly let the hammer down. I mean, that's where I was at. And I didn't report to work Monday, and my boss sent security out to where I stay, and that's where they found me. And I woke up 3 days later in ICU with tubes and hoses and monitors. And of course, my initial reaction was I did it, because that was the last thing I remember. And it was alcohol poison. I almost died from alcohol poison. So I was off to rehab, and I haven't had a drink. Let's see, today is the 3rd, so I guess today is November 3rd of 2014 was the last time I had a drink, so I guess that's 16, 17 months. And I just turned back to weight training, man, and I attend AA meetings, have a very good sponsor, Mike Davis, who told me I could mention his name. He's been a great guy. So I attend AA meetings now, and I keep my butt in the gym, and I keep positive, and I want to be a positive influence on people, I think telling that, I'm not ashamed to tell it, I'm not happy about it, but by the same token, I think it just goes with the power of overcoming, because I've had so many people come to me with drug and alcohol problems that I wouldn't have ever thought they had those problems, and when you put it out there like that, they'll come to you, especially men. Men are taught to just, suck it up. And they try to do that themselves. And alcoholism and drug addiction is a very strong disease, usually requires professional help. I mean, I'm the most strong willpower person there is, but when it comes to alcoholism and, strong drugs, whether it's illicit or prescription's probably abused more than anything. Man, those withdrawals are horrible. I had to get professional help, and nobody told me this. Said, "Hey, you need to go. You should go." Luckily, I had enough head on my shoulders. I told them to take me, and it was a good decision. But I started drinking in the first place because my legs shake at night from the spinal cord injury, and I found that a glass of wine would make them stop shaking. Well, a glass led to 2 glasses and 3 glasses. Before I knew it, it was like I was knocking out a box of wine in a day, and I had no desire to go to the gym drinking like that. Those two really don't they don't go so well together.
Yeah. Well, you definitely had a full hand against you. Nothing but respect, overcoming that. And like you said, I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there that hears your story or, can take something from that and, better themselves. Just like the girl you mentioned, who was contemplating suicide, as long as you can reach one person, man, that's what it's all about. And hopefully this is an outlet for you to, share that story and, help somebody out there or, help numerous people out there. But when you decided to turn your life around, what were some of the things that, helped you as far as that journey goes? And what was your game plan as far as starting your new life and turning that page, that chapter?
Well, initially, it was a fight for my life, literally. I'd been kept going at the rate I was going. I wouldn't be talking to you guys today. That's for sure.
We're glad you are.
Yeah. I made the conscious decision. I have strong faith. I told you earlier, I'm of Christian belief myself. For the sake of, my relationship with Relyn and my occupation, I had a lot of reasons, even though I've had bad things happen to me. We all do. Good things happen. Bad things happen to good people. I was a paramedic long enough. I saw that. I've seen some things nobody should ever have to see. And you think somebody that has witnessed numerous suicides with gunshot wounds to the head would never do it. But like I said, with depression ranging so severely, and unfortunately, like Robin Williams, everybody says, well, the guy had this, he had that. It's not about what you got and what you don't have. All you can see in the moment is.
Damn. Well, we were afraid that was going to happen. Is this him? Is he back? Yeah, we lost him. All right. Well, man, that's a crazy story.
I think I heard somebody.
Yeah, it sounded like his gym. Anyway, what are you guys' thoughts on that so far? I mean, that's pretty wild. I thought he was just going to say, hey, I got paralyzed and, having a hard time. And then I didn't expect the whole drug addiction portion to be a part of it. There we go. Welcome back, Josh. Or Chad, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the turning point for me was, was just a fight for my life. I got back in the gym because I know I'm not going to drink if I'm in the gym, and I go to AA. Unfortunately, during this contest prep, it was so overwhelming for me. For some of you guys that have competed, man, going to those meetings really, my schedule was crazy for the prep. I mean, preps are insane, especially if you do it right. And I was 100% dedicated to it. And I'm thankful
Well, tell us about that. Tell us about how you decided to get into that and what all exactly it took from you, what you had to do, and not a lot of people know much about the wheelchair bodybuilding world. So maybe you could discuss that with us.
Absolutely. That's what I was telling Berlin. There's only like 20-something pros around the world, and there's not that many at the NPC level. But the sport is growing. Frank Dahl, the wheelchair year, and Nick Scott, who heads up wheelchairbodybuilding.com. If anybody cares to go to that site, that's a good site. And Nick has that whole thing full of good information. It's wheelchairbodybuilding.com. And Nick pretty much retired from bodybuilding and put all his time and effort into promoting it to the point where it was accepted at the Arnold this year for the first time. They allowed it at the Arnold Classic. So that was absolute history. I mean, I'm a grown man, and I couldn't watch it without crying. Seeing those guys up there getting to do their thing, it was such a dream come true. And to be a part of that history, man, it was overwhelming for me just to be able to watch it. I couldn't imagine the guys that competed in it. But some of those guys at the pro level, man, they're a force. And I'm friends with most of them and know them.
Oh, okay.
And they're all, wheelchair bodybuilders are a little bit different because I used to compete in the able body, but the wheelchair people, we're real tight-knit because it's small anyway. And I think all the crap we've been through, it tends to humble you. So we're not afraid to share information with each other. We talk to each other, say, I love you, man. And you don't see that a lot from professionals on the able body level. They're usually duking it out, some kind of drama or something's going on, So, yeah, it is small. But what got me into it, I think it was I saw an NPC News Online magazine. I saw a picture of a guy on it. I didn't even know it existed myself. This was in '05. And I did my first show 6 months after my accident against doctors' advice. They told me to quit lifting weights.
6 months.
He said, you're probably just going to further injure yourself. I was like, man, y'all got me messed up if you think I'm going to quit lifting weights. That's like telling a runner you're not going to run anymore.
Yeah, the hell I'm not. Well, 6 months, that's crazy. So I'm trying to think, like, what kind of exercises what are some things, because it's obviously a different approach than it used to be before you were in the wheelchair. So what are you doing different, things like that?
It's definitely an adaptive style training. You either have to be sitting down or lying down. If it requires any kind of leg strength, I mean, I'm pretty much have to be out. I can't do standing curls. I mean, everything has to be, from a seated curl. Now, fortunately, I'm still able to get under the row machine where I can do rows, and if I have somebody, it's a lot of times I can get on the pull up. Everybody's always talking about my lats. That's thousands and thousands of pull up that's from. So I've had to do some adaptive training, and Nick Scott puts out a lot of links on wheelchairbodybuilding.com for athletes that are interested in it on adaptive training. But in a nutshell, I have to be lying or sitting. Like for curls, sometimes I'll lay down flat on the rowing machine and do rope hammer curls.
Okay.
You just learn to work around it, and shrugs are difficult for me. Of course, I always pay for it on back day the next day because I've got those rods that run up and down my spine. Yeah, it hurts, but we're not going back down the hydrocodone road. If ibuprofen or Tylenol can't handle it, I just live with it. And people ask me all the time, they say, doesn't your back hurt? I said, yeah, it hurts all the time. They said, well, you never complain about it. I'm like, nobody wants to hear that crap.
I love your attitude. So you recently had a competition, right? Tell us about that.
I did. It was the 19th of March, which was just 2 weeks ago, I guess. I finished first place in the heavyweight, and I finished first place in the Masters, which is over 40. I just turned 42 Friday, so I was almost 42, but anyway, over the 40. So I took those 2 first place trophies, and I took second for the overall. I wasn't going to do the show. I thought, man, and I got to thinking, my good workout partner, John Minter, he kind of pushed me, and I pushed the, so I said, I can't win this thing sitting at home on the couch. And my whole thing is, I tell people, you can make a wish, or you can make it happen. Nobody's going to come knocking at your door and give you an opportunity for something. If the window of opportunity opens for you and you want that opportunity, you better go through it, or it's going to shut on you. And I don't want to be one of those people that looks back one day and go, why didn't I chase my dreams? What kept me from chasing my dreams? And the answer to that for everybody is usually yourself. I think a lot of people they're scared to fail. It's fear of failure. Mm-hmm. And Arnold kind of says it best. So what if you fail? You get up and you try again. Some of the most famous, successful people we know in history fell flat on their face many, many, many times before they ever succeeded. You just pick yourself up and keep moving, and I won't quit either. I mean, I'm going to keep going as long as John Wayne would say, the Lord willing and the creek don't rise.
I totally know what you mean on that, though. There's been so many times, even in my life, and I've noticed, the most successful times is when you go big. If you play it easy and, you go for the minimum, you'll get minimal results. But it's when you go for a broke, so to speak, and you do it big, even if you fail, you learn so much in that failure that it propels you to the next level. Like, you learn. Like, even when the light bulbs were being invented, they were like, hey, how do you feel about all the failures? It was like, I just learned one more way not to make light bulbs. And it's like that with each failure. You learn, okay, maybe my approach was wrong, but you know what? I'm better for it. So then after that, you pick yourself up quickly, assess the situation, and then just go full speed back into it. And you find that you end up propelling yourself to levels you didn't even think you could achieve when you started. And you look back, and it's like a dream. Like when you're going forward, the dream looks like where you know you want to go, the destination. But when you look back in the past, the dream is where you came from, really. And it's like, was that really me? And I don't know if you feel that way, but I totally end up feeling that way all the time, Chad.
I absolutely feel that way. I tell people all the time, if you're taking the path of least resistance, it's probably leading you to nowhere. we learn from struggling. It makes you grow. You grow from the pain. You grow from going through the storms in life. And, you know, like here today, it's nice and sunny, but we know another storm's coming. And every time you go through a storm in life, you know, it helps prepare you for the next one to deal with it that much better, you know, because life's gonna kick you, and I've learned it usually kicks you down when you're at the top of your game. That's when it has me, and I thought I had life by the tail every time. It showed me otherwise, you know. So it can happen to a person in a blink of an eye. But like you said, you don't just sit there and self-pity. You don't wallow in it. I mean, it's okay to give your time to go through a grieving process, like loss of a loved one, for example, in a tragic accident. That's normal. You should go through those 5 stages of grief, but don't keep yourself there. Certainly, you know, your answer will not be in the bottle of pills, and it won't be in the bottom of a bottle of alcohol. That will exacerbate your problem and make it worse, I promise you. That's coming from an alcoholic, and I guarantee you any other alcoholic addict who's had any experience will tell you the same. For me, the gym is my new drug. But it's not just a drug that takes away. Those other drugs, they take away. The gym is my choice of drug because it releases the endorphins, but it also gives back. It doesn't just take away, it gives back.
Therapy. So moving forward, you had mentioned Arnold. When we were talking earlier, you said you were thinking about that's your new goal. You want to be able to compete on the Arnold wheelchair division.
Absolutely, yeah. At this point, it's annually. They just had it a week before my show, so I think it was like the 9th or the 10th, somewhere around then when they had the Arnold. But that's for pro. You have to be pro status only to compete at the Arnold. But now they're looking at doing one for the Olympia. And that's big time, man. You know, in bodybuilding, that's the Super Bowl of like for bodybuilding is the Olympia. So, I mean, but just for getting to the level that the Arnold stage is mega huge. That, like I said, just made me cry, man. Those guys were in such good shape. They looked so great. And just being a wheelchair athlete, it touched me deeply and emotionally. I guess you could see how it would. But I never thought I'd see it go to that level because all we've ever had is the wheelchair nationals, and the people that would get their pro card had nowhere to go. So they'd come back and do the same show. It's like Jay Cutler staying at the NPC level, you know, competing.
Yeah, there's no progress.
Right. They just keep coming back and winning, and now it gives the other guys a chance to advance up and to develop a bigger pro class, which is great. It's awesome. And like I said, there's been a lot of people that have done that. Nick, I know, has worked relentlessly on it. And Cynthia James and Frank Dalto have really, you know, they're the ones that originally in the 90s brought forth wheelchair bodybuilding there in West Palm Beach, Florida, the Wheelchair Nationals. And I believe Ludovic Marchand, a friend of mine on Facebook, was the first one to turn pro. He's 52 years old in a wheelchair, and he took second at the Arnold. 52 years old.
How does that work? Do they have like age divisions, or is it just one group? Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah. At the pro level, it's just like it's all one age. There's no masters. There's, you know, you got guys that are in their early 20s all the way up, like Branch, into their 40s, you know. So, yeah, he's 52, and some of the guys he was competing against were 20s, late 20s, early 30s. And, man, he's 52, and he's still bringing the heat, dude. That's awesome.
Well, that makes you feel old, but then you see stuff like that, and it puts it into perspective, and you're like, psh, I got years, I'm good.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to be looking forward to seeing you on that Arnold stage, and then eventually on that Olympia stage.
Hope so.
We'll have you as a Barbell Life sponsored athlete. How about that? That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Um,
Great.
we're gonna switch over now and probably start taking some questions.
Okay.
You got anything on deck?
My first question is for Chad. What's your workout schedule generally like?
How are my workouts, like my normal workout routines?
Yes. What is your workout routine like, and what time of day do you generally work out? That type of thing.
Generally here where I'm at, which is any time, after I get off work at 5, I start my workout about 5:30. Monday it's usually chest and tris, you know, for me 10 to 12 reps, maybe 4 rotations of chest, and then, 3 to 4 rotations of tris at 10 to 12 reps. And then Tuesday we'll be back in biceps with pretty much the same rep range and ski, 2 rows and and 2 types of pull-ups, followed by some biceps. Now that's subject to change because the trainer that I'm going to be working with, I don't know if any of you guys know her name is Debbie Brumwell Washington. She's an ex-IFBB pro. Had a chance to meet her at nationals, and she's quite a awesome person. Love her personality. She obviously knows her stuff. So my workouts may change depending on what she advises me, because I know I have some areas that need to be brought up, on the level I'm taking it. Hitting my arms twice a week for me could be too much. So I usually do have a chest and tri, back and bi. I generally won't work but 2 days in a row workout because I can only work upper body, right? So I have to give it adequate rest. So I'll take out Wednesday and rest. And then Thursday and Friday will be, like shoulders and arms. And then I may rest Saturday and or Sunday. But each weight session is followed by, well, pre-competition, each session was followed by about 45 minutes of cardio, which I can do it on a recumbent bike on like level 2. I mean, it's just like, very minimal, but it's better than nothing. I don't have access to a hand bike, so. But mainly, most of my conditioning comes from just my dietary intake. It has to, I cut my carbs extremely low.
Yeah, I've seen your stage pics, and you're pretty shredded, man. So your diet must be on point. Another question we got for you is from one of our admin, Adam Weidman. He wanted to know how long do you usually prep before a contest?
It will, if I know I'm going to do the show, say a year in advance, I'll start giving myself 12 to 14 weeks. I like to go slow so I have a minimal chance of losing any muscle. I don't want to have to do a crash diet, like in 6 weeks. That's too drastic, I think, and the body responds usually by losing too much muscle. It's kind of like a plane coming in for a landing. You want it nice and smooth. You don't want to be coming in like that. I'll start tapering my carbs off is what I do. My protein intake never changes regardless of on season or off season, but generally my preps are only about 8 weeks because I stay lean year round. I'm one of those people I like to keep myself around 10%. It's enough to grow a little bit, but yet not just get sloppy in the off season like I see a lot of people, because that just makes it hard for me to get around that much more weight I put on in my upper body. I mean, I'm already way proportionately top heavy anyway. Because I've had so much atrophy in the legs, from the injury, shrinkage.
With your accident, have you and since you changed your lifestyle and all that, have you seen significant like improvement in your size as far as like adding more muscle, things like that?
I think so because I've been able to focus more on just upper body. A lot of people, will say training legs will make your upper body grow, and there is some truth, to that theory. But there's also, the aspect of just only having to concentrate on the upper body, because legs, I'll be honest, man, I don't miss working legs. It's brutal. I've never wanted to really grow. I'm kind of an ectomorph naturally. I'm 6 foot tall, so about 6'1", actually. When I started this thing, I was 6'1", 55 pounds. So
Real skinny, huh?
that takes a lot of energy to train legs, and I'm able to not have to expend that energy and time on legs and give myself more focus on upper body. So I think I've seen better development because of that. Yeah, but, I mean, that's just my opinion, neither here nor there.
Okay. Well, cool. Larry, you got any other questions?
Yes, Bill says, does doing rack pulls increase your deadlift weight?
Rack pull. I'll just go over that real quick. Rack pulls are basically, I mean, they can help your deadlift, but they're mainly meant to strengthen your the lockout portion of the lift. So when you get the bar to your thighs, a lot of guys they can't pull it past that. They can't lock. They can't lock out. They can't get their hips, forward, and so they can't complete the lift. But when you focus on the lockouts, the bar is already um, yeah, you're only focusing on the lockout basically. So you do that enough, and your lockout starts to get stronger. When you actually do your deadlifts, you're able to hit those lockouts a lot easier, and so it does strengthen your lift altogether. Yeah. Anybody else want to touch on that one? All right. Next question.
Our next question here comes from Dustin. What is the best gym headphones on Amazon or wherever, I guess?
I'll let Brittany start with that one. She's like a home connoisseur.
I wouldn't say I'm a headphone connoisseur. I like to have earbuds. It's because I don't like the look of the big bulky ones, and I tend to go for Bluetooth because I hate having wires dangling and getting in the way. Me and Skull Candy are homies just because they're not expensive and they have a really good sound quality. That's pretty much all I look for, and noise canceling. I think if you have all of those, you're good to go. I really don't steer toward a specific brand or anything other than Skull Candy. That's just because they're not expensive. I think I have probably about 5 sets of headphones, one in every car, purse, whatever, just so I always have them.
You're not getting to the gym and realizing you forgot your headphones.
That's exactly why I have so many, because I'll go to the gym, not have them, and then go buy some. So.
They just start piling up. That's funny. Yeah, I like the Bose, the ones that kind of follow the contour of your inner ear. You put them in. I've tried a lot of different headphones, and like the Beats ones that go around your ear, but there's always seems to be like a little bit of space that I don't like. I'm not getting the full quality of the music. With those though, it stays right in your ear and it doesn't move. So to me, those are the best ones. And like Brittany said, I don't like to have the big Beats on, looking like a DJ at the gym. So yeah, I definitely go with the Bose ones that go in the ear. I can't remember the name of them, but what about you guys?
Let's go with you, Chad. What do you got? Remember to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
You're good.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, it had me muted. I was trying to figure out how to unmute it. I personally like the wireless. I use the kind that are wireless Wi-Fi. I can't remember what brand it is. It's a German brand, but basically just kind of horseshoe around behind your neck. Uh, you don't have the wire. You've got to tuck in under your shirt and down through your waist and all that. Uh, and they're just the buds instead of, like you said, the DJ style ones. Because I sweat a lot, man. I'm pretty relentless with my workouts. So these got little silicone buds, and they're wire, they're Bluetooth. That's how they work from the phone. I use Pandora myself. I like Pandora. They play a good list of music. That's just me.
That's a nice function when you don't have like an iPod or whatever. I've actually forgotten my iPod and used my phone with decent. I just have a big thing in my pocket. But what about you, Will? You got a certain headphone or anything you like? No? All right.
Me, I go against the grain. I have the big headphones on like a DJ. Part of the reason is because I'm always losing headphones. My wife complained about me racking up $100 bill a month and lost headphones probably. One month it got bad. I lost so many headphones, and it was just stupid. It'd be like, I know I just had them, the earbud ones. So I figure if they're big and clunky, I'm not gonna lose them. So I work out with my big headphones on. Plus, nobody bothers you when you have your headphones on, and they by default, since they're covering your ear, most of them noise cancel. And I found they have a little bit better sound quality than my earbuds had. So that's why I tend to go with those. I I do like the Bluetooth a bit more, but I'm not against the cord if the headphones have good quality to them. I guess the most common ones are the Beats by Dre, but there's a lot of off brands. V-Moda, they have cords, but they're still a pretty good headphone. Um, so it kind of depends. I've done some Skull Candy, but that was more when I was doing in ear, and they're pretty good too. So yeah, it's kind of a matter of what you want to do or what your goal is.
Yeah, I like the sound of the beats just because it's so like you said, you're not hearing nothing else but that. But we got any more questions, Larry?
We have one more question, and this one's kind of a long one. This is from Richard Lee Jackson. Um, I want to shock your. He says, I want something to shock your body. 20 sets of one rep, 70% of your one rep max, bench, squat, deadlift. Do them like a circuit, one rep for each. So, do you guys have any workouts that you like to do? I guess that will uh, shock you or give you quick growth. Just a tough workout to get through. I guess you can put anything together in general to make a tough workout. But what do you guys like to do?
I think my favorite thing that I've done within the past couple of months was 10 by 10 squats and deadlifts. And I tell you, well, without doing any rest, I take less than 30 seconds rest between each set of my lifts, and I'm going probably up to about 60% of my max. And getting through that is really, I mean, I don't think I've had a harder workout, and I feel completely exhausted, and that's just from doing those 10 sets. And when I get to my deadlifts, it feels like my skin's about to rip off. I mean, that's rough. That's probably the roughest thing I've done. And follow it up with a run or something.
Yeah, I think deadlifts deadlifts are usually what kick my ass, really challenge my CNS, my central nervous system. Uh, I'll do a set of deadlifts, and either do a pyramid set or some drop sets. But like Brittany said, a short rest period, and then do another set, short rest period, do another set. Deadlifts really tax my entire body. If it goes for like leg day, if I'm doing superset, things like that. Anything superset is going to kick your ass. Real short break in between. You're not having time to let your heart rate slow down and all that. You're just going back to back to back. You're gonna blast yourself, and deadlifts is it for me. What about you, Chad?
For me, I mean, I rarely will do the same workout twice. I always vary it up and do something different, because I believe in, through what I was taught through, a national Catholic medicine, the human body is very adaptive, and that's merely all it's doing when you lift weights is it's adapting to the environment you're placing it in. Just like calluses developing on your hands, your body's adapting to that stress to deal with it. So if you keep doing the same workout over and over and over, eventually your body's going to adapt, and it'll quit responding. And the only way you can change that is by, like you said, shocking up the body, changing up your reps, the weight. I'm 42 Friday, so I mean, I can't just keep going heavier and heavier and heavier, because I'll go up to 405 on the bench, for reps, and anything higher than that for 10 reps, I'm risking ripping or tearing something, So the way I get around that is I just do more volume. I might lighten the weight up and do 20 sets instead of 12 sets total, like for back or chest. But yeah, constantly changing things up, because your body will adapt, because that's all it's doing. Shock it up. Give it a reason to grow.
The way I see it is, if you don't leave the gym like taxed, feeling like you really just left everything in the gym, then you didn't get a proper workout. If you just leave throwing all willy-nilly, you obviously didn't go hard enough. Like you said, Chad, you gotta really just give it your all, and change it up, and confuse your body, confuse your muscles, things like that. So that's a good point. What about you, Will? Is there any workout that you recommend that really kicks your ass?
Maybe deadlifts.
Anything. What's a workout that really puts you through it?
Well, I mean, like deadlifts or like bench, like the superset bench press, put dimes in each side, and you press it like 5-10 times, and you take the dime on off on each side, and then you keep pressing it with no rest. You go all the way down to your chest to 45, and then you work your way all the way back up to the starting point. Man, your chest is on fire, man. I don't do those all the time, but that's a muscle blaster right there. Good one. You don't get no rest, and it burns you too. And if the 45-pound bar, man, feels heavy too. One time you bring it down to I was like, man.
Yeah,
but and deadlifts, I don't really like deadlifts, but I do them, but they're hard, my weakness. And I'm trying to get there up there. Like I gotta get my form right. Like I can do like 425, but I gotta work on my form. I got my legs closer, so I've been doing my deadlifts closer. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm gonna try to get up to 435 maybe this week. Wednesday I'll do 435. Try it for one time and see what.
Yeah, the bench workout you're talking about, I actually learned that from watching Mike Rashid, one of his first videos. He does that pyramid set. You know, he starts off, like you're saying, he puts 10 on each side, does reps, another set of 10 reps, another set, and so on and so forth, until the bar's damn near full of 10s, and he can only get 1 or 2, and then bam, drop a plate, reps, drop a plate, reps, drop a plate, to where, you know, like you said, you're struggling with just the empty bar because your muscles are so exhausted. So yeah, that's definitely a good one, man. What about you, Larry? And then we'll wrap up.
I did a lot of the same. I guess Will beat me to the punch there. But another one, since you guys covered deadlifts and doing that, another one is like box jumps and doing planks. So you do a box jump, and then you get down, and then you hold the plank and everything. So you start, jump over, jump down, plank, turn around, do it again. I mean, that kills me because you got to hold those planks for 30 seconds each time, and then you're jumping pretty high up. So after doing that quite a while, you can barely, I mean, like you're just dying. Your core is dying. Your legs are on fire from having to jump. You can barely jump up there anymore. So that's another one that kills me. Or just doing tons of pull-ups where you do as many pull-ups as you can. Then once you get to the top, you hold for 30 seconds to a minute. Then, once you let go of that, you do pull-ups again, hold again. Those types of things have you on fire.
Nice.
Those are all great. I'm going to throw one in here too, Larry. So I just started working out with a new routine with Arnold Schwarzenegger routine. When you do 30, you start with almost lightweight, a very, very low rate. You do a set of 30 real quick. And this is primary focus on your chest. And start doing your decline bench, 30. Increase the weight a little bit more. Do a set of 15, then 12, 8, and 6. And by the time you're done with that, then you move over to flies. And you do those. And then you do incline bench. And by the time you're done doing all the different sections of your chest, you really feel it. And I've seen drastic results by doing that.
So you're just hitting all kinds of different angles. I like that. All right, so we're going to wrap up the show now. Chad, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I really appreciate you, coming on and sharing your story with us and the Barbell Life. A lot. Any shout outs you want to give, or any plugs you want to make before we call it a show?
Yeah, I always hate trying to thank people. I'm afraid I'm always going to forget somebody. Of course, I'd like to thank the God of my understanding, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, my fiance Relyn, people that have been very supportive of me. These are not any particular order, just as I think of them. Debbie Bramwell, Washington, John Mender, Mike Davis, Daryl Pines. I've got a big support group. So I've got a lot of people that's helping me. My dad and everybody, and I just wanted to drive home the message about overcoming adversity and letting people know, whatever you're facing, man, don't ever let nobody tell you can't do something. Don't listen to the naysayers. If you want it bad enough, you go get what you deserve. It's yours for the taking, and don't hate on somebody because they got something you don't. If they got something you want, go get it. I had to scrap and claw and whatever. How bad do you want it? Like I said, you can make a wish or you can make it happen.
Love it, man. And perfect example why we brought you on the show, man. You were a great guest, and thank you again. We'll try to bring it back on for another show in the future. Like I said, we definitely want to get you under our banner and get a sponsorship going down the road. So, anybody else? Will, Brittany, you guys want to say goodbye to the crew?
I just want to tell Chad that your story was absolutely amazing, and I love the message that you're putting out there. Everything that you're saying resonates with every individual that's ever gone through anything. And I love your attitude and the way that you're holding yourself. You can have excuses or you can have results, never both. And I like that you're living that way. As for everyone else, thank you for joining or for coming to see us today. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you, and I'll see you later.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, you got anything?
I just want to say, like Brittany said, your story is incredible, and how you overcame what happened, and you know, been lifting. And I just got one little. I wanted to ask this one question about when you first got injured. How long did it take you to accept that you were going to be in a wheelchair? Like when you got injured, and how long did it take for your mind to say, okay, I'm in the wheelchair, like I have to move on? Like,
I moved on fairly quick. You know, I didn't let it get me down too much. Like I said, in the initial stages of being hospitalized and rehab, yeah, I was down and out, like anybody would be. But I picked myself up. I dusted myself off. And as far as accepting it, I don't know that I've still 100% accepted it. That's a big pill to swallow. I'm at peace with it, though, you know, and I'm glad I'm being given the opportunity to tell my story and let people know that, hey, you know, that's what life's about. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off. You keep on going. It always, you know, the storm will pass. There'll be another sunny day.
Larry, you got anything before we wrap it up?
Yeah, definitely. I resonate with a lot of what you said about the keep on. Everything you go through in life, you're going to hit those same challenges. And you can either make a wish or you can, you know, blame it on someone else or make any other excuse that you want to make. But the reality is you always have the control to change what your future will be. No matter what's thrown in front of you, it wouldn't be thrown in front of you if you couldn't do it. It's just a challenge. And it's, will you rise to the challenge or will you lay down there and blame someone else or give up? Everything that I've ever wanted to do in life, it has all been a matter of me thinking about what I want to do and going forward. If I don't go after it, then it never happens. And I think that's what is the making of a champion like Chad. He looks at it and he goes, you know what, this sucks. It's not saying that champions don't ever fall down. It's not saying any of that because we all have our down period, but it's about getting back up after the fact and saying, you know what, I'm not going to let this happen. You know, I'm going to do it. And no matter what, like when people laugh at me and go, oh, that's just a dream. You know, I don't see you making that happen. It makes me, you know, like I put them on the list. And I go, well, that's one other person to prove wrong. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down and I show them that, hey, look, I did it. Because the best way to put someone in their place is to achieve your goals despite the odds. And, you know, and that's like the title of this, Against All Odds. And that's why, you know, Chad brings that to the table, against all odds. I mean, he was walking. And for a lot of people, you know, to have such a setback, they wouldn't, you know, do that. They would go, well, my life's over. God looked bad on me, you know, or whatever. I had bad luck. But he changed it, and he focused in a different way. So I look at everybody out there, and I look at all of the great people in the barbell life, and I say, you guys can do the same thing. We have so many people, from people who were told, you know, if you don't lose weight, you're going to die in a few years. Other people in the wheelchair, too. You got to get on it. It's up to you. Your life is what you make it. You know, things come at you. You can't control those, but you can control how you react. So get out there and do that, everybody.
Yeah, man, well,
I'm just going to add, Chad, you're inspiring. Life is what you make it. It clearly is, and you're a good example of that. Thank you for coming on the show and sharing with everybody.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right, well, that's it.
One
Thanks
more
for
thing.
checking out the Barbell Live show, BBL show, and the BBL show brought to you by Barbell Nutrition. That's our supplement line coming out. We have a pre-workout and a post-workout, plutonium and chain reaction. For more information, go to the website, www.barbellnutrition.com. Go ahead and sign up for the mailing list, and you'll exclusive emails on future launches, coupons, discount codes, anything to do with the Barbell Life. So check that out. And until next week, thanks again. And you guys take it easy. We're out.
All right.